injured when the fire took place on the 23rd of January. MPs are set to get a 2.9% pay increase, bringing their salary to just over £86,500. That's the latest from Radio News Hub. I'm Jules Eachbridge.
Now that the holiday season is over, many timeshare owners are facing a winter of expensive upkeep. With rising inflation, now more than ever, we need to look after our money. If you own a timeshare in Spain or the Canaries and bought it after 5th of January 1999, you may have been missold. mytimeshareclaim.co.uk could help you exit your contract and receive substantial compensation. To find out more, text TIME to 78900. That's TIME to 78900 today.
Maritime Radio weather.
Dry across many parts
of the UK. Can you hear me?
Although there will be some showers
affecting
Scotland and Northern Ireland.
Hello.
Times. Temperatures dropping no lower than 2 degrees Celsius.
This is Maritime Radio.
Hello, can you hear me? I'll put the photograph in just a moment.
We're glued, I'm into you, forever true, be free, free yourself like no one else, your innocence is free. Fight for your rights, my lover, fight for your life, yeah. Fight for your truth, my lover, be you, be free. I'm proud of you, and me, mirroring you, and what you do. Now that you see me, fight for your rights, my lover, fight for your life, yeah. Fight for your truth, my lover, be you, be free, be the blue, be free, be you, be yourself, be free, be yourself, like no one else, proud of you and me. Fight for your rights, my lover, fight for your life.
I'm trying desperately to get hold of Claire McCartney, who's on the video screen here, but I'm not sure if she can hear me, or I've got the faders all up, but nothing's happening this end. Claire, can you hear me at all? No, she's sitting there very prettily, but there's no audio here. We are despite all buttons being pressed and levers and knobs, nothing's happening. I don't know what to do here apart from panic. And certainly we got both people on. There's no mute anywhere. Everything's happening okay this end. I've got Claire on the screen, but we have no audio, and nothing's happening at all.
Right, I've just, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Right, okay. I decided to have a bit of a twiddle and take a risk and just press on something, and it was to do with the Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay.
It said Wi-Fi cellular data. Never had that before. Usually, you click on microphone, yes, and then you're okay. So I thought I'd just take a chance, click down the bottom and see.
And magically we have. You're hearing me okay?
Yeah, I can't see you.
No. There's, for some reason, it might be a blessing in disguise there, but for some reason,
it's really weird. It looks like I can see a bit of you.
I think you can probably.
It's like a sort of black curtains. It's like you're in a confession box.
You can probably see the blue soundproof screens behind me, Claire. You've got a lovely rainbow colour screen behind you, which my listeners can't see. But
I can see like purple and red, and I think it's your leg or arm. I can see. I feel like a vicar right now. So I want to listen to everyone's confessions.
Oh, well, it's a delight to be able to talk to you and see you, Claire. We've had a couple of conversations on social media, Instagram, but this is a live one-to-one. As the listeners are finding out for the first time, this is how it goes when you busk a session without. I haven't got a producer here. I've just got me and a lot of luck, and you with a lot of luck your end. And
yeah,
I've
I
just
used to do. Sorry.
And I was going to say, I mean, I was going to come around to that. I've just been playing a bit of Glitter Glue to lead you in, but you're a lady of many talents, aren't you? Want to tell us about your broadcasting and acting career? How did you get into the music?
I was just going to tell you about hospital radio. That's what this reminds me of. I did hospital radio years ago. God, that must have been about 17 years ago. And we had such a laugh on there. And there were so many things that we kind of was like, oh no, can we broadcast that live? Especially when we did Panto.
Yes.
And so it sort of started when, it's a long, long time ago. I'm from Harlem. I've got a really posh voice on tonight, by the way. I'm really common. I'm from Harlow in Essex, right? And I ended up going to the West Country to university down there in the 90s.
Which uni was that, Claire?
Exeter.
Exeter, okay, right, yeah.
Yeah. And I wanted to learn about anatomy and physiology because I wanted to be a yoga teacher.
Oh, yeah.
And before then, I worked in the city. I went to university quite late in life. I was like 25, so I was surrounded by 19-year-olds, which is a bit weird, but I'm quite immature anyway. I'm in my 40s now. I'm still really immature. And I went down to the West Country, started this whole new life all on my own. But before then, I was working in London, just like on City Road, like on a reception desk.
Yes.
With a team of other receptionists. It's now that building is now an acting agency, die-cast agency it's called, which is really weird because I went for a casting there a couple of years ago and my name is Claire Harrison McCartney. Like my mum's Teresa McCartney, my dad, I'm telling everyone, like everyone's going to be like, oh, like we know so much about this woman now. And my dad's Harrison. So it was like, they went, hang on a minute, she's a yoga teacher, because I was a yoga teacher, another talent there, right? But I know, it just goes on forever, right? All these mad things I've done in my life. My mate went, if you wrote an autobiography, Claire, it'd be so interesting. So I walked into like City Road, where I used to work in the 90s on reception, the team of other receptionists. And I was like, this is so weird, like walking into that building years later, being an actor now. And it actually was for a yoga advert. And because I'd been a teacher, I like studied in India. And that kind of leads on to the acting as well, like, because they make you stand up and do loads of acting. It's all really Bollywood over there, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And they were like, this is really weird. So you're a yoga teacher and your name's Claire Harrison McCartney. I was like, yeah. And they're like, but didn't the Beatles? And like everyone kind of like links you with the Beatles. And then they're like, oh, the yoga thing as well. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but they're just surnames. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, like I wanted to, because when I was working as a receptionist in London in the 90s, I partied quite hard. And I love dance music. But my mum is like sort of more of a soul woman. And I saw that you like Motown.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, Clive would get on really well with my mum. My mum knows everything about Motown. Like she should have been a disc jockey and had her own show. And my dad, like he loves the Beatles and like he knows a lot about music as well. But more sort of, well, they both know everything about music. Yeah, it's really weird. And my granddad, like I do come from quite a musical background as well, because my granddad McCartney, he played saxophone for the Royal Scottish Philharmonic Orchestra in the war.
Okay.
And yeah, I've got all these really old photos of him. And when I hear a saxophone, I do a lot of open mics, like with covers and stuff.
Yeah.
I just love like, you know, mixing with musicians and having a bit of a laugh. And there's a girl there called Kate Owens, who's an amazing human being and a fantastic saxophonist. And when she gets her sax out, I'm like, oh, I just love that sound, you know. So like I've written songs and like sort of put a part in and said, if there's like anyone who wants to do an improv sax solo, you can do that. No one come along though. No one come along yet. But I'm hoping someone will, you know, Bandar Ballet, they had Steve Norman, didn't they? Sort of turn up. It's like if I ever had a really good band behind me, I'd love a saxophonist. Anyway, I'm just waffling now.
Yeah, no. So, I was going to say you're probably well, you know, for yourself and your radio work and your TV work, you're the world's best and the world's worst. In as much as I've only asked you one question and you've now spoken for about 12 minutes.
I should be a politician. You know, when you ask a politician,
you get the answer they want to give you.
Yeah, and they always like scoop around it, don't they?
Yeah.
I was always told off at school for talking.
But what I'm having to do, I'm having to what they call, as you know, gap hunting is the technique. You're looking for a gap in the conversation. So I can hop in there and ask you a question. So it sets you off again, but on a different topic this time.
Yeah, I can't even remember the first one.
No, I was asking you about your background and your diversity of talents, babe. That's what I was asking you about.
Yes, I've also trained as an actor.
Yeah.
The London Academy. That was really interesting. And then I did my TV training, which was for TV presenting. And I was like a budding presenter, probably about 15 years ago now. And they send you out into the world and you have to interview people in the street, you know, with vox pops. And then a company got hold of me and just said, can you join us? I was like, yeah, that'd be great. And we started off at Harlow Playhouse, and you've got to be quite forceful. I can, you know, I don't care. I just get up there in people's faces, and like they either like it or they don't. It's like Marmite. So I'm like there, you know, backstage with Sandra Dickinson talking to her. She was lovely. She was just really open. And then we'd like turn up at football matches, like celebrity football matches, and I'd be like in Maxi Priest's face, you know, like, and he's brilliant. What an amazing man. I loved that song.
And you find out more about people with interviews, don't you? Because you are not only asked the questions, but you also follow up with the second phase answers. When they tell you something in the answer, you'll listen to the answer. You can ask them another question as well. So you get a lot more out of them from a one-to-one interview, don't you?
Oh, yeah. And you get a lot from people's energy as well. It's like Jeff Brazier was there and I asked him something. He went, "You're really spiritual, aren't you?" And I was like, "Oh, how do you know?" And he was like picking up off me. And Frank Bruno, when I interviewed him, oh, that was absolutely brilliant. I was like the only woman there. That was a bit like, what's going on here? But everyone was so lovely. And it was a boxing match. It's a charity boxing match. And he was so nice to me. And, you know, you kind of think, oh, he's a bit scary because he's so tall and big. But he was like the most gentle man. Yeah. And he was just so lovely and such just up for a laugh. And he said to me, "You can write comedy for me if you want," because I do write comedy as well. Yeah. And I perform. Because
you done Edinburgh Fringe. You were saying in your press release.
Quite a few times.
Yeah.
I've done loads of stand up, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, I've written a sitcom recently and a pilot, and I'm trying to get the BBC to air it. Yeah. And I made some contacts there last year at the BBC Comedy Festival, and like with some commissioners and producers, and I'm just really, really pushing that. But what I'm going to do this year at Brighton Fringe, I don't think I'll do Edinburgh this year because it's hard, and as you get older, it's just hard on your body, and you're just and the accommodation is always really horrible. It's horrible. It's like student accommodations.
Now, I don't know if you can hear underneath this conversation, there's some music coming up. Can you hear that?
Ready to rise and open my eyes and what's gonna do again.
Yeah. I was, now that's the next question, Claire. Your lyrics are very meaningful with insights. Tell us a bit more about how the lyrics came about for Back on My Feet.
I actually think I'm a better poet than I am a singer, to be honest. It started with, like, I live in a council flat, and I'm really trying. I'm trying to but just be successful. Who isn't, right, in this world? You know, you want to better yourself in this life, and you know, I'd quite like to live somewhere nice, right? I do really appreciate my council flat, I love it, but I do sometimes go through a bit of depression, like who doesn't, right? You know, a lot of people do, but it's actually quite it's a bit depressing talking about it, actually.
Oh dear.
I do have like something called bipolar disorder. I'm really open about it.
Yeah.
And you don't know when those chemicals in your brain are gonna, you know, go one way or the other. And it's quite a frightening experience. And even on medication, it can happen. So that song was about getting back on my feet after an 8-month depressive episode.
Wow.
Yes, it was 8 months. And no matter what I did, like, 'cause I can't take anything with serotonin in it because that sends me manic. So, yeah, it's about just like picking yourself up, getting back on your feet and just being happy again.
Yeah, I think there's an insight there, Claire, because what happens is when people hear a record without knowing the background to it, they just hear a record, they hear melody and lyrics. But when they hear, like you've just told us in the last 2 minutes, the background of how this song arose, people listen to it with a different ear, don't they? They have a sympathy to it, not a sympathy in a nasty way, but in a positive way to try and help you to actually get back on your feet and be the radiant person you look to be.
Yeah. I just love, like, it's quite a soul track as well.
Yes, it is.
It's quite soft. It's quite, because I can change my voice. Because I was an impressionist as well. I did go on I know I did go on Britain's Got Talent. Don't look at the.
Oh, you mentioned that in the bios, and you didn't say we weren't very positive about it.
No, I did get buzzed off. But I've done quite a lot of shows at Camden Fringe, Edinburgh Fringe with impressions. And when you can do stuff with your voice, you can change it. Where like Glitter Glue is more of like a happy song. So my voice is so different in that song. Yeah. But when I wrote that song, I thought, oh, I actually wrote it for Kylie Minogue because I thought, oh, it's an LGBTQ song.
Yes.
Yeah, but and also for people on the spectrum, you know, Asperger's, ADHD, like myself, you know, people who were looked different at in society and not, you know, the norm. I hate that because who is really normal? Do you know what I mean? Like even top politicians, you know, some of them are dyslexic, some of them have got dyspraxia.
Oh, indeed, yeah.
So we always look at them people and think, oh, you know, they're the perfect human being. But you know, I think it was Einstein, Mozart. You know, they all had some kind of ADHD, Asperger's. So Glitter Glue was written about when I was 13. I fell in love with George Michael, right? And then I found out he was gay, and I was like, oh, he'll never be mine, but I still love him. And that's like some of the lyrics in Glitter Glue are that's what it's about. It's like fight for your rights, my lover. You know, that she thinks he's her lover. He never will be, but in her mind, she'll always love him. And I think George Michael was so loved anyway, wasn't he?
Oh, he was, yeah.
Oh, fabulous man. I'd have loved to have met him.
One interesting thing, Claire, when your press person sent out the promos of the track "Happy" and "In My Skin," the press release with it refers to you as his new record, which set me wondering whether there's a gender problem somewhere.
Oh my God! Everyone thinks I'm trans now.
Well, that's why I was interested to talk with you, but you're very much a female as far as I can see.
I am.
Yeah.
But and my rainbow, but. Because I'm a bit of a rainbow child, you know, I look at life this differently. That's my rainbow. And I do support LGBTQ people as well.
Yes,
I just think, I look at people just as they are. I look at their soul. You know, I was a yoga teacher for a long time, and I just look at someone's energy. But yeah, no, I was born a woman. But do you know what? I used to do drag king stuff though. I used to have a really crazy character. Who I used to go out as, like, it's like a really farty man. It was like a farty man, and I used to walk in on a comedy night, so people just used to laugh because he's just farts, and people laugh at farts, don't they? I hope your listeners aren't turning off now. They're absolutely disgusted with me, but it's one thing that we all do, and you either find it funny or you don't. But I used to just walk in as this man, and he was like he worked for the council. And he just used to look at inanimate objects and never fix them. And that was what he would do. Oh. And it's just stupid. It was really just stupid. I'd never do that now. In my early days, when I'd done Edinburgh Fringe, I had all sorts of crazy characters. Like, I had a politician, I had a superhero, an old lady. I'd never do that now. But in answer to your question, I was born a female. And that's funny.
To tell your press man that you're a her, not a him. So otherwise,
everyone's a she, him now, aren't they? We're all the pronouns, so it can be whatever. I think, I don't think it matters really. No, you know,
Claire, give me just a minute. I've got to press a button here. I've got to play a couple of commercials. Keep yourself quiet for just a minute. I'll pull the fader down. I'll be back within about 2 minutes, and we'll talk more about the other song as well. Don't go away. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
This is Maritime Radio.
Devastating earthquakes have hit Turkey and Syria. People need help now. To donate online, search DEC or text radio to 70787 to give £10.
Working from home definitely has its perks, but it can have its downsides too. Escape to the office with the Workers' League, situated in a light, airy ex-industrial space in the heart of Blackheath. The Workers' League provides a professional yet comfortably social environment with office-grade furniture, super-fast Wi-Fi, and great coffee included. And with rates in Blackheath from just £12 for half a day, we're flexible and affordable too. Register for free today with the Workers' League app or visit workersleague.com for more info.
This is Maritime Radio.
We're back live with Claire McCartney, and she's just gulping down a cup of coffee there quietly off screen.
I'm sorry, Clive. I'm glad I'm not on telly. I just done a Don't Call Me Shirley. Do you remember on Airplane when he used to do that with his eye? He threw drinks in his eyes. I just done one of them.
You're dry and you're safe though. You've no damage done.
No, the eyelashes haven't fallen off.
And your top ain't come down either, so you're all right. Tell us now the other song that is coming out next week, isn't it? Happy in My Skin. Tell us a bit about that, if you will.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. 'Cause one day this ballad just come to me. It's like you plug into something when you didn't even ask for it. You're just walking around your flat, doing your washing up, and it's like all of a sudden, oh no, this melody's just come in my head. And then all these lyrics download. And because I was always good at poetry at school as a kid anyway.
To destroy me with your words and your deeds.
Carry on. I'm just playing this underneath us,
You got in my head and planted bad seeds,
I'd be dead now.
I'll play it in full when we finish the conversation, Claire, but that's just to give listeners a taster of the melancholy style, in fact. But it's a happier song in its way, isn't it?
It's really weird. It's like a bit yin and yang, isn't it? It's like, so it's really sad. And you're like, oh my God, there's this person who's like been really persecuted. And then she's like, oh, I'm happy, 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 happy in my skin. And on the video, I'm prancing around.
Yes,
cycle track.
In a bathing costume as well.
In a what?
Bathing costume.
No, I thought it said Boney M then.
No.
Boney M. It's a bit like, it's actually an African dress.
Oh, is it? There's one on the beach somewhere. There's a video with you on a beach.
Oh, that's Back on My Feet.
Oh,
yeah.
is it? Okay, right. So yes.
That's the midlife crisis one. But yeah, no, this Happy in My Skin. Someone said to me the other day, I was like talking about it online, promoting it, and a woman went, "Oh, so what happened in your toxic relationship?" I'm like, actually, it's not about me. Because so many people, like we started off with the vicar thing, loads of people tell me their problems. And it's actually written about some of the things I've heard with other people in relationships. So it's not about me, but someone said it to me. Actually, a lot of people said it to me the last couple of years. 3 people said it when I'm really happy in my skin now. And I'm like, that's weird. I've just written a song about that. And it's about a lot of people just finding that happiness in themselves where you're not validated by anybody, where in your 20s and 30s, I think you go around, you think, oh, if I find a significant other, you know, get married, be with someone, I will feel more whole and complete. But it's about being whole and complete and happy in your own skin, in your own body, you know, like yourself, just being you. But it's quite, some of the lyrics are quite strong. And in the video, I worked with Dan Gittins. He's an actor, a really amazing actor. And I'm really looking forward to that when it's released on Tuesday for the video, actually, because we got a chance. I mean, I do more comedy acting, but we got a chance to do dramatic acting. And I love doing dramatic acting because it was just like, we were just really horrible to each other. And it was, I said, Dan, this is like therapy. He went, oh yeah, I can do a horrible-ogram and come out and just be really horrible to her. I was like, no thanks, so I'm only acting, you know. But we were like, sort of, he throws me out and I like go, oh God, like, I'm like, oh, and I'm like packing up my suitcase and he's like throwing things in it. And it's like, I think everyone can relate to that unless you've been happily married all your life and never had any problems. But I think a lot of people can relate to that toxic relationship, you know, where I think a lot of people can, where you end up with someone and then all of a sudden you start arguing about really silly little things. And, you know, like someone might be looking at their phone and then the other person might get paranoid and think they're talking to someone else on there. And we acted all that out. And I really enjoyed doing that. I really enjoyed that video. But I tell you what, I'm not as fit as I used to be because I was prancing down that cycle track and the cameraman, I'm just going, I can't do this anymore. I'm like trying to skip along and be really happy. But that video's not released yet. It'll be released on Tuesday.
Is there an album coming as well, Claire? You've got an album coming? You're working on an album as well?
I'd love to, but when I get the song download thing from, I don't know where it comes from, the Matrix, some kind of spiritual realm, I don't know. They're strange ideas, aren't they, when they just come to you?
Yes, indeed.
Where do they come from? And I've written a blues song, actually, because I started trying to learn how to play guitar. But oh no, look how small my fingers are. My hands are so tiny. And the ironic thing is, my brother has got massive hands and he plays guitar for a very famous man. And my brother does lessons as well. And he tried to teach me. And he's so positive. He's going, no, you'll be able to do that. You'll get a D chord. And I just couldn't do it. So I'm working with a guitarist at the moment. And we just do covers down open mic nights, just for the fun of it, really. And I mentioned to him the other night, I said, oh, Kev, would you be able to work on the blues guitar on this blues song? And that's about a relationship as well. And he's like, I'll try, but these things take a really long time. And I've got another one, like it's a bit sort of Latin, and that's actually about a breakdown being a breakthrough. That's quite intense because like in this country, when you hear of someone having a breakdown, everyone goes, oh, how awful. But in India and New Mexico and places where shamans are, they think it's amazing. They go, oh, that's fantastic. Now you'll be a different person. It's like, oh, isn't it weird how different cultures look at mental health? So that's that song. And then I got one about of a happy song, you know, like Paul McCartney always writes love songs. I thought I've got to write a love song because everyone's going to think my life's just tragic, and it's not. Well, it could be. Comedy is tragedy plus time. That's what Omid the Jalili told me when I met him. But yeah, so I've got like 4 new songs that I really want to churn out, but it's so lengthy.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it takes so long. Where like Glitter Glue, I worked with an amazing guy called Daniel Benisti, and that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
And I didn't, yeah, and it was during lockdown, and he's an amazing artist. He plays piano, he does a tribute act, he's a brilliant musician. He's done a lot of his own stuff as well. And he said, oh, I've just come up with this. Can you write the lyrics to it? So that was really different. You know, he'd given me the music, so then I wrote the lyrics. And he said, oh, I really like it. You know, let's run with this. And then I wrote one called Shine Your Light.
Yeah.
I loved that because it was a bit gospel, you know, and I love all the gospel. And I was like, yeah, that's like, it's about, you know, the pandemic, how we tried to shine our light during that really dark time. But then when I recorded it, I wasn't happy with the recording because it had multi-tracking on it, and it sounded awful. So now I'm like, I don't like that song. But it's just beautiful. It's like, shine your light. You know, it's like really sort of soul-y, you know.
Yeah.
I love all that. So I might release that in a different way, maybe, because I wasn't happy how, you know, like when you're working with someone in the studio, what they do is they go, oh, how about let's start joining in? And they go, oh, I'm singing over this. How do you like that? And you'll go, yeah, let's do that. And then before you know it, it's on the end track and you think, actually, I've listened back, I don't like it. And then it's released. I know, and then you can't do anything.
No,
and then it's released out there and you're like, I don't like it now. That sounds awful.
Claire, I've just had a 5-minute warning on the screen, so we're going to have to wrap this up. What you did actually very kindly invite me down to Harlow, so we're going to have to carry this on in person. There's a lot more to ask you, and to we can get some stuff on video as well, maybe to bring to the world. And it's been a delight talking with you. You're such an engaging person with a vital personality and a lovely smile on the screen here. So let's stay in touch, Claire. Claire McCartney, thanks ever so much for your time on Maritime Radio. I'm now going to play Happy in My Skin to the listening public in its full glory, and we'll keep in touch and bring you back to the world sometime in the very near future.
Thank you, Clive.
Have a nice week. Have a nice weekend.
Lots of love.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.